So I'm with Dr. Ektta. She did her PhD at National Institute of Advanced Studies, then moved on to do her postdoc at Gandhinagar, and now she came to NIAS back to give a talk. In the morning, she gave an excellent lecture about how modern technology can be used to understand ancient history. So let us listen from Dr. Ektta about her research and the excitement of the work she's doing and her plans for the future. Dr. Ektta.
Thank you, sir. So, I mean, shall we? Shall I talk how I got into it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, archaeology. I mean, I remember when I was in like ninth standard. So I heard from somebody that this about archaeology and how interesting it is, and then I mean that was just a thought that I want to be an archaeologist. But when in 11th standard, when I took up history as a subject, and I realized it's so difficult to remember all days, so that time I dropped this plan of doing archaeology, and my interest increased more towards geography, and I took geography as my main subjects during my bachelor's.
Okay.
And that's how I get into geography. And in geography also we have human geography and physical geography, and I found physical geography more interesting because probably the kind of inquiry we ask in physical geography about the formation of lands and different features, and to know more about your surrounding. So I mean I get more interested into physical geography. And then by doing my masters from Pune University, I got an opportunity to do MTech in GIS, where like even though I do not have any science degree.
Maybe just you can tell what is GIS?
Yes, Geographic Information Systems. So I mean generally for MTech you need some MSc degree or BTech degree, but this was the course where being like coming from geography background with a master's degree in geography, I could apply in that I mean for the MTech program. And yeah, that's how I got into the subjects, technical subject.
All your undergraduate studies were in which state, which city?
So I did my I did BA honors in geography from Kirodimal College, Delhi University, and then masters was from Pune University, and that time it was Pune University. Now it is Savitribai Phule, Pune University. So yeah, that's how I came to this subject, and in MTech came into technical
So that
branch.
means you thought about this at a much younger age, and can I say like that?
Yes, I mean while doing geography, like masters in geography, that time we realized, because we had a course on this remote sensing and GIS, and that's how I got interested in remote sensing and GIS.
Yeah.
And during my MTech course, I met Dr. Rajni, so who is a professor at NIAS itself. And so that meeting with her, I remember like during my interview for the entrance exam for MTech course, I mean after my interview got over, I asked her that I want to know more about its application of remote sensing and GIS in archaeology, because Dr. Rajni has been working in this field. But very unique field.
Rajni is a faculty
Yes,
at
yes.
National Institute of Advanced Studies. Yeah. So tell me about your research as a part of your PhD, and then what you did at Gandhinagar.
Okay, so my PhD topic again, it was inspired by a work by Dr. Rajni, where she studied Dutch map of 17th century, and where she tried to understand why Seven Pagoda, Mahabalipuram Seven Pagoda, was named Seven Pagoda, and using old map and also the recent this remote sensing and GIS technology. And that made me interested in this field, because from that paper I realized that it can be used for understanding geomorphological changes along the coast, like geomorphological changes, like how coastline are shifting and how different features along the coast are being formed or being eroded, so long term. So generally when we study these coastal changes, we study remote sensing data which is available for like last 50 years, but these maps provides us data which is for 3-4 centuries old.
Okay, good.
So,
So what are the purpose of these studies? I mean, ultimately?
Yeah, so for my PhD work, so I studied these, like a focus was on understanding these maps, old maps, which are available from the period when Portuguese came to India, when they started colonizing, like around 400 years ago. And then after Portuguese, Dutch, Danish, French, and British came, and they started mapping Indian coastline. And so we have lots of maps of Indian coast from like 16th and 17th centuries onward. So this provided us data of the coastal changes, and because when they used to come to the coast, they marked landmarks on the maps they made. So they also preserved information about the features, like the structures which existed along the coast.
Now, what I want to ask you is that understanding the past,
Yeah.
how is important it is?
This technology, remote sensing and GIS and maps. So yeah, like as I said that so these maps preserve information about the past. So when they came, they saw some built structure, some feature, and just imagine if that structure got eroded, maybe because of the relative changes in the sea level, it got submerged, and it is not present at present it is not there. So using such information, we can understand that there existed some structure which is not there, and we can start our probe on field. So this is one thing. Other thing, this was like about the structures, maybe archaeological application, but in geomorphology, like understanding sea level changes, relative sea level changes, also it can be very useful.
So predominantly these studies are on in the coastal region or even interior?
So interior, yes, but the coastal region, because they started first coming to coastal areas. So we have maps much older for coastal areas than the land interior areas.
Yeah. Well, what is the outcome of your Gandhinagar studies? I mean, what you did in Gandhinagar?
So as I said that for my PhD work, I studied coastal maps. In Gandhinagar, I studied primarily remote sensing data. So we use different kinds of data. We have optical remote sensing data, we have microwave remote sensing data, then we have digital elevation models. So like we combine all the data plus information extracted from old maps, and then try to understand about Harappan civilization, the trade network, primarily the navigation routes during the Harappan period. And also we studied paleogeography around Lothal.
Okay.
Yes.
That means what is the any important outcome of your research?
Yeah, so from this study, I mean, it is very interesting that these technologies are helping us to know about the past. And the important thing which I realized while doing this work was that there are certain questions which were not answered. I mean, I cannot say that I have answered 100%, so there, I mean, all these things are, evidence based, so we can be more assertive than before, then be like 100% sure. So that gave us another perspective to understand this, problems and questions which were raised. So Lothal, earlier study suggested that there was a paleo channel close to Lothal. So from the study which we did at Gandhinagar, we found that the Sabarmati river itself was flowing along the Lothal.
So that means you could trace back the path in which it would
Exactly.
be there. And also you believe that these routes were used during the Harappan civilization for navigating.
Right. So this was like the presence of river Sabarmati itself along the Lothal and its connection with the Null corridor. So like in the morning talk, as I discussed that there was this route. So earlier people were suggesting that could be extended arm of sea, but we found there could be another explanation, that it was because one more study which suggested that during Harappan period it doesn't show any marine evidence of marine life in the Null Sarovar area, which is at the center point of this Null corridor. We looked at from a different perspective, and we found that there are interconnected water bodies even now, which could have served as a navigable passage.
It is in the Kutch region.
It is between Saurashtra and Gujarat mainland. Yeah, even like a British record mentioned that Saurashtra used to get isolated for 6 months of a year.
Okay.
So.
Good, so maybe your research will have a better understanding about the past.
Yes.
Now, congratulations for your fellowship in Spain. Tell me what you plan to do there.
So it's again like the team with whom I'm going to work with. So they are still doing research in this Gujarat, Kutch, particularly Kutch region. And what they are doing, they are using machine learning to identify sites. Actually, so there is another project called MASA project with University of Cambridge, where they are using old maps to identify archaeological mounds. And the team which is there in Spain, they are using machine learning to extract information from these maps so that these mounds can be automatically identified. And then there is a team who is working on field to validate the information from these maps. So I will be contributing to that
Good,
big
yeah.
project.
I'm sure
Yeah.
best wishes for good work there. Yeah, I know Dr. Ekta is also a very good artist. I know her skills from photography. She also writes some poetry. And so it's very nice to have a person interested in multiple things. So please tell me, what is your advice or suggestion to young people who want to pursue this field of study?
Okay, archaeology.
Yeah, or the
I
way
mean,
the research
okay.
which you are doing.
Yeah, I mean, it is very interesting actually. I feel because, as I said, that I'm more interested in art and creative stuff, and I find this study gives me, I mean, so there's so much to visualize, and sometimes, just by looking at images, we understand so much more than what we can understand through other methods. So, my suggestion or like advice would be like if, you know, it's very interesting subject, because anybody who sees my presentation, they say that it's interesting work, and I always find it very interesting.
So can we say that you can satisfy your creativity
Yes.
by doing these technological?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, actually, is it that the research in this domain, is it becoming easier now than, let us say, 10 years back or 20 years back?
Yes, definitely with technology.
Yeah, what is the reason? I think I would say.
Yeah. So, for example, like recent example of this Google Earth engine. So earlier we had to download each and every image and then mosaic them, and it used to take a lot of time to process the data. And now with this cloud computing platform, which is freely available and easily accessible, so we can analyze multiple images, many images, like hundreds of images together in just few
That
minutes.
means the advanced technology tools are becoming available to the researchers
Yes,
now.
yes, definitely.
What about our ISRO? I mean, how is it that, how are they helping in this domain?
Yeah, so no, lot of images being freely available.
Okay.
Earlier, few images were available. Now, more and more images being.
So what you're saying is, if a researcher wants, ISRO will provide them, or ISRO has a mechanism of providing the data.
Yes.
That
Yes.
on
So
the
they
images.
also provide images free of cost. They're also I mean, the images which is also like not free of cost, but they are very reasonable.
Okay.
So we can procure them, purchase from NRSC.
Good. Anyway, nice that you could come here and spare some time. So for me, this is using modern technologies, advancements in technologies for getting back to the past.
Yes.
It may look little odd, but then that is the reality.
Yes,
And
yes.
then, of course, we were discussing a while ago that why should we know the past?
Yes,
There's
yes.
something which we discussed. I think knowing the past or authenticating the past. Knowing
Yes.
is one thing,
Yes.
and authenticating is the other one. So that enhances our happiness about the
Right.
past.
Right.
So best wishes, Ekta, for success.
Thank you,
Continue
sir.
to be creative and don't get lost into only your research. I'm sure look forward to seeing your pictures and poetry.
Thank you so
And
much,
that is
sir.
best wishes to you.
Thank you.